Alrighty. What's up, everyone? Got the cool music on because I really like this theme. It's been a few days. Obviously, those other streams that I tried, it just failed completely. I don't even want to attempt, honestly, because it failed. No. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Mess up with the audio. No, the theme is really good. There's not really gonna be any audio for this stream because I really don't. I'm not even gonna be listening to audio myself. Here we go for the game. This is gonna be the ZA post-game grind, obviously. So spoilers, blah 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 blah. If you're gonna watch a video called "Doing the ZA post-game grind," let's make sure it all looks good. All right. Okay. Pause that there. So, yeah, we'll talk about the game and all that stuff. I have beaten the main story, and I've beaten the majority of the post game, seeing as I obviously have the boy Zygarde, who I'll be using in this episode or in this stream. But the other part of the post game, which I do kind of already know the ending to, because I avoided pretty much everything for the main game, but then after I finished it, I started looking at some things. So I kind of already know what I'm doing, but I do want to do it because I don't. There's obviously the thing about this game is that a DLC is coming. We know it's coming. Obviously, they already announced it, which is kind of insane. Obviously, but that also kind of means that like the post. I'm interested in the DLC. Obviously, we don't know much about it because they couldn't spoil anything, and I think they're not gonna do. The idea is it's gonna be continuing adventures with Team MZ. I think they're gonna do some insane stuff with it. Probably, I have not seen the leaks much. I did go on Poke Leaks at one point, and I did know that like all the megas were revealed, but I did not look at them. I know there's a few good megas, so I don't know what's gonna be in the games. I don't know what's gonna be in the DLC. Don't really want to know. But yeah. In terms of side quests, I did like 40 of them. Not even 40. I did 39 of them. There's plenty of them. I think at some point, like in the next few months or so, I'll just like go out and start doing them. I don't know. I don't. I did a few of them, and I think there is some good stuff in there. But I personally do not care for them. So, just gonna start with the Infinite Royale. You got to get to 15, which it's not that bad, and it's just you got to get the grinding part is you got to do 50,000 points, which is it can take a little bit. I'm not really gonna be optimizing it because it's just having. It's also a good way to do some mindless grinding. While I talk about the game, because I do want to talk about ZA. There obviously will be in chat if there's ever any of that nonsense. We'll respond obviously, but gives me a chance to talk about ZA because kind of funny. Like a few years, a few months ago, I did the Legends Arceus streams for doing the post game there, or finishing up that game, which this game doesn't have like the Arceus fight, which is like to be fair, the fight with Zygarde is actually pretty interesting. The fight is actually easier than the Arceus fight because I think the Arceus fight had different gameplay. This is a little different, obviously. Which we'll get into the gameplay. Where is it? But yeah. So anyway, I've done like I think I've done like two. No, I've done like three. How many Infinite Rails have I done? I've done 3, and I've already halfway to the over halfway to the 50,000. So it's just gonna be, you know, doing some good old fashioned quests, some good old fashioned side quests in here, or some good old fashioned grinding. But if we want to talk about this game, I think there's a lot of good. I think, like, on its whole, I like this game a lot. I really do. Like, I really do find it a fun game. Um, I did play it on on Nintendo Switch too, so I did get to play the superior version of it, which is, I think, necessary. I don't know how much fun I would have had on it. Although, I mean, if I didn't know, but I know this exists, and I've obviously, you know, used it. So this is the way to play the game. You know, to play it at like 60 FPS. Uh, crap. I'll use a core enhancer. There's 1,000 waves. There we go. Get to freaking use this awesome Pokemon. Boom. Oh, I freaking died. Alright, well, whatever. I can revive him. I'm not really caring about my gameplay right here because it's just kind of... I'm already so powerful anyways. But overall, on the whole, I like this game. I think it's very good. Obviously, Pokemon is contentious nowadays because for good reason. I'm not saying it's not for good reason, honestly. On a technical level, their games aren't that good. I think this game looks a lot better than Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion. From like in terms of an art style, I think it looks a lot better. It looks a lot cleaner. It does have that kind of plastic art style. That even like Sword and Shield had. That is a case, and honestly, like again, like technically as well, like I don't know how well this works on Switch 1, which like I'm especially now that this exists, I don't want to ever go back to that. If Gen 10, you know, is like this, or if it's not like 60 FPS, then it's gonna be exclusively Switch 2. I know that for sure. If it's not 60 FPS, like consistently, then we have issues. Which that could totally happen because Pokemon is like that, unfortunately. I know they're doing a lot of big stuff with it, which I'm interested to see. I am a sucker for Pokemon. It's so there is just some of that nature already that I, by design, gonna be more interested in this. But this was a different game than like Scarlet and Violet. In a lot of ways, I think, obviously in terms of like map design, it's pretty good. Like Lumios is a pretty, you know, obviously it's kind of hard to get around sometimes, but it's really cool to like see Lumios and like it's all its glory. And I also kind of take it from a like, especially because like the funniest thing is like until Paldea, I think that the last really good that last decent region. Now I haven't played Alola, but at least from just like a gameplay section of what I know of Gen 7, Alola is not really a region to explore. It's just a bunch of levels. And granted, you can also say that for Kalos in a lot of ways. And I don't think Kalos is like because I recently played X and Y about a month or two ago in preparation to play this game because I never played X and Y. And I was very mixed on X and Y. I did not think it was that good. I thought it was like, especially compared to like Scarlet and Violet. And the one thing I'll say is that it was Pokemon's never run well in 3D. I think maybe, except for maybe like freaking Alpha Sapphire ran a lot better, but X and Y do not run well in 3D. Anyway, that's just but like in terms of a, you know, in terms of what the frick. I'll switch over to this. Take shot here. This will burn this a little bit. But in terms of like, I think it does have like, I think Lumios is a nice world, which is very nice. Like I think they did a good job. Like they obviously had to. I think the issue. I think there is the thing of like it's a city, so it's kind of boring, and that's always there. That is the case. But they did a good job of actually like making it pretty interesting to play through, and that's important. Pokemon wise, I think obviously I think the Dex is fine. There's a lot of good Pokemon, and I think the big thing, the one thing for me, and the big real issue that I had with X and Y as well that got fixed in this game. In terms of like the biggest thing for me is actually like X and Y kind of like sucks as a game. This game does a lot of the X and Y stuff because it's also a quasi like somewhat remake as well. It's a quasi like remake. There's a lot of the same things. Like your first, literally like some like insane details. Like you still get a Kanto starter from the professor. You still do your first run in with your first use of Mega Evolution is in a scripted 1v1 fight where you use Lucario. It is still the same, like it's still very similar. There is still a final like game or a final what am I talking about here? A final like battle with a 3,000-year-old man. Like it's just kind of that stuff always is still the same. Get this here. And then here, I'll do some Mega. Oh, I didn't give it stone. Boom. Yeah, seeking ultimate Zygarde. It's pretty cool to have this cool Zygarde here. Boom. I should give it its Mega Stone. It's gonna revert back. And that also should give us, yeah, there we go. 50,000. But like I was always kind of doing like a thing. The main thing for me was this has got to be a no, well, actually like a cube. Switch it over to 14. There we go. Just whatever. But like I always like this was like X and Y's lore. Like I think the thing I've repeated this a lot. The thing for X and Y is I think the lore is good in X and Y. There's a lot of interesting lore, but the story and overall like the way the story is told is disappointing and honestly pretty bad. I'll be right back, guys. I need to close the door. But I think that the lore is good. The way the story is told, it kind of ruins the lore in a way because the story isn't that good and the characters aren't that interesting and the way there's not much like the way that the spectacle is done. It's not interesting and it's very bland. Um, which is like it makes it suck. It's like and so what I was hoping for with this game was to like actually do justice to like Kalos in a sense. And I actually think that there's a lot of what was gonna be Pokemon Z was in this game. I think obviously there's some changes like it wasn't gonna be a Lumios game. It wasn't gonna be a game that's focused on Lumios. It was going to be a proper Pokemon game with gyms and all that stuff. However, I think the idea of like and I even think like it being in Prism Tower probably was always there. There was obviously going to be changes, but it was always going to be this kind of big thing. I think, and I think a lot of it was already going to be there, and I think maybe AZ passing was always a part of it too. So I mean, it just depends. Here's the freaking weirdo, the grandpa with the we'll see some actually get to see some of the megas, which I think is the coolest part about this game. The game puts a lot of effort into its megas, and like, even though I don't think megas are gone in a way, and I hope. I mean, my hope is. I'm gonna go here. It's not good. There we go. But like, I don't think megas are gone in a sense, but I do know that megas, like, if this was like the last Mega Evolution game, then this would be like the Mega Evolution game. Like the Mega, like there was so many megas, and it was so awesome to finally like megas sucked in other games in terms of a like actual. Oh frick. I can full restore. And then we can Mega Evolve. Mega Zygarde, get Annihilate. They didn't even mention, like, the funniest thing is like they mentioned the other gimmicks. Like they meant there's a NPC that mentions Dynamaxing, and then they literally mention Z moves, and like it even is relation to Zygarde. Here's a Neolite. Boom. Just Mega Cannon. Like there's just I think again, it's so nice when I'll just use 1,000 waves here. And then boom, boom. Man, just so good. Like, like the best thing is like again, like so many trainers have megas pretty much. Once you get past a certain point, which is basically once you get mega, every big trainer has a mega, and most of them are new megas that weren't even revealed in the marketing, which is awesome. The marketing actually was like we got like the worst megas were in the marketing, honestly. Okay. Boom. It was pretty. Man. But like again, I think there was actual like real there was real thought into the megas. I think again it was done in a way that like actually like made them usable, which is what made like Terra. Because I obviously I haven't played Alola, but I know that the moves kind of suck in a way because they're just a long animation. Yeah, they're powerful, but they're a stupid long animation. Like they work. The only way like Z moves work in like Pokemon Showdown, where the animations are very simple, where like they're like really quick. And obviously if they ever did a Lola ever again, which who knows? I know the plan for the third Galar game based off the new leaks is that it's the new Legends game is that it's a Galar game set 1,000 years in the past. But obviously this was originally ZA was originally going to be an old Johto game, which kind of is awesome in a sense, but also kind of kind of crappy. It's like it would also be kind of similar. That's probably why they did Legends ZA because it's something completely new. Which is like the whole point of Legends is to like it's like to revisit old regions, but do something new. They don't want to. It's kind of change the formula. They don't want to do the same thing. That's obvious from the Legends games we got, and they did a lot of work. And I think they did a lot. In terms of the actual story, like the one thing I'll say on a lore level is the lore in this game is freaking awesome. Like they do so much connective work. We literally got a timeline for the latest Pokemon games, which is it's because this takes some knowledge of leaks and also some knowledge of the at one point years ago during like ORAS, one of like the Pokemon like Twitter accounts did like a timeline thing, and it's a loose timeline, and the issue is that it's not always followed. Like technically, it's been like Black and White 1 takes us like 10 years, like after like Diamond and Pearl. But then if you do it like characters look the same, it's just gonna be how it is. And then and also it's inconsistent. Like in Sun and Moon, Red and Blue actively look a lot older. They look like like they're 20 years old in a sense. And which makes sense. It's been about like that. But then you have Wally, who looks the exact same, even though like he's technically should be about Red and Blue's age. My thing for Gen 10 is that I feel like since it is obviously Gen 10 and also 30th year anniversary of the Pokemon series, so there's an actual like, uh, you know, need for older, if there might be more callbacks and whatnot. That they actually have like some of these characters come back, and like I would love though for like a world tournament again, where you get to fight them and like actual good fights, not like random fights. I want a red fight. I want a cool red fight, and I want a cool like uh I want a cool Cynthia fight. I want a cool Leon fight. I want a cool uh Lance fight. Like I want those with like new designs too. It would be really cool. Don't know if that's gonna happen, but that's my copium. That's what I would love. But besides the point, like they do like, but like anyway, the games take place over 5 years, which is pretty cool. Like it's been 5 years since X and Y, and it's at least after uh it's at least after I'll see rock sliding. But actually. Just boom. Boom. It's at least after Sword and Shield. Might not be after Paldea, but I think it's probably is. It's safe to say it probably is. So that's pretty cool. Like, let's go. So like the lore is pretty good. And obviously, there's the museum and all that stuff. But also, I think obviously that lore is not everything. It's also like story, and I think the story is pretty solid. The thing is, I also do think like, and I know it's sometimes like, there's also I gotta say there is a DLC, so there's gonna be more, which is what I hope, because I do think like there's some stuff that's just kind of not mentioned at all, which I kind of wish it was mentioned. Oh crap! It's gonna freaking kill him. It's gonna kill him. Swap out, swap out, swap out. Pow. Tyrantrum. There we go. Tyrantrum. Restore to Zygarde. There we go. I don't think the thing is about like Scarlet and Violet had a lot of actual like really good character work, in my opinion. Uh, but like this one didn't have as much, but this one also had a bigger cast than Scarlet and Violet, and I thought the characters were mostly pretty well done. I think the dynamic was pretty good. I think that especially because again they had more characters and they had to focus on, so they had to give them like some depth. They couldn't give them the super in-depth characters because again, Scarlet and Violet are very like it's very very like smaller scale, like a lot into a sense. So they made it it's a bigger scale game, and there needed to be, and I think like the characters it does handle well, like L, ice puncher, L, AZ. I think MZ overall is like a overall like team is a lot better. I don't know about them as a. I think the characters individually are kind of interesting, but also kind of. I don't think they are perfect. I don't think they're as interesting as the whole team as a whole kind of dynamic. I think the trainers are pretty cool and how you kind of connect everyone together. And they're all mostly they're kind of weird sometimes, but they're kind of chill. Corbenio's obviously really chill. He's a chill dude. And talk like that. The character designs are really good, and like I think like the characters are cool and they're just interesting. Also, they have cool megas, which is like needed. Like having cool megas is kind of what you need to have. So like I think it's a cool game, and I think the story is good, and I think it goes for the big bombast, and obviously the ending is freaking insane, and like yeah, it was kind of it's kind of insane because AZ's like he's kind of not really involved in the story, but he is, and you kind of see it, and they kind of really put it in, and it's kind of cool, and it kind of takes place. It's a little bittersweet, but like it's how it is, and it's obviously AZ killed a bunch of people, so like he made another thing. It was always really funny. He's like I didn't. He just like he made another one. Wow, he actually dodged every single time. There we go. There we go. Say goodbye. Should probably get very good fairy move. Oh yeah, fairy. Moonblast ball. So again, I think they did a good job of that. I think where this game does kind of fall apart is I don't think like obviously you kind of see here, and obviously I'm not playing the best because this is like a chill stream where I'm not even doing much, just kind of mindlessly grinding now, which has its faults, but I think that overall the game's gameplay it's a good start, and I think there is some fun to be had here, and I think maybe even on if I haven't gone online with it, I'm gonna have to because I want to get the Greninja, which is very stupid that they put those there under multiplayer and not in them just being in the game, which is like kind of baffling on in a sense. Like why aren't they just in the game? Like that's kind of weird. Um, but let me go to another one. But for what it's worth, like I think it is a fun, and I got more out of it. I think the issue is that like there is the kind of thing where I think especially maybe in the boss battles it kind of shows it a lot more promise because here, what is ice? Yeah, just no, that's there we go. I don't think a lot of the fights last as long. I got 500. That's an issue. No, 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 no. That was always fair. Well, that did a lot of damage. Okay. But I think the boss fights, because like I just don't think the fights last long enough to really like incentivize dodging sometimes. The boss fights work a lot better because they actually like you can actually dodge. There's a lot easier dodge tells, and also just like the thing is like this is still an action RPG, and it's a lot more RPG than action with the system because some attacks you just can't dodge, and so there's no such thing as a level 1 playthrough or like a low level playthrough where you dodge all the attacks, like a no damage playthrough. It's impossible. You are going to take damage. It's pretty obvious. Which I just like. It's kind of more action oriented. It kind of sometimes also feels more like an ATB system, where like you're just gonna try to tank hits. And you can still kind of just tank hits and just spam blows at each other and trade blows. You can dodge, and there is a sense of dodging. Freaking Dark Pulse, there we go. Dark Pulse. Oh wow, you swapped out. Oh, there's Dark Pulse again. It's like but I think it's fine. I think I think the interest system could be more interesting. And it'll be interesting to see like if they continue with iterating on it because I think it's fun. And also I want to see like the DLC because the DLC is a chance where you can actually like improve and like make better encounters and stuff like that. I am interested in the DLC, and obviously I think we'll probably get that more information on it soon. Probably get into information on it in the next, I don't know, next few months or so. 1,000 waves. 1,000 wave. Boom. Doom. It's Wrath. But I think like it does like make the system does make other Pokemon moves actually like usable, which is pretty nice. Like there is a kind of like thing of like it's not just the most powerful moves, it's also moves that like there's actual considerations because of positioning and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. I just think it's it is different. I also think it's kind of hard to control. Like I've had issues with like targeting sometimes, which is kind of an issue, I think. It's kind of why I wish that like my whole thing is I wish you could just control your Pokemon, because that would be so much better than controlling your trainer. But I don't know, because I kind of also that's what I thought like the Synchro Machine was for, but like a precursor to that. But but it's not. So that's I think where the game really does have an issue for me. It's what makes it not. I don't have actually a fire type move. I think I'll just let W Bird get freaking shanked by this dude. There we go. Like you can kind of see it there, but also like it does kind of do, but also you can just like tank them. It's not that hard. So I'm interested in the DLC to see if maybe they can make the. I don't know if they'll add any new mechanics. Probably not. They don't really do that for Pokemon. The Pokemons are more. They're kind of more expansions, not really like, and like not like expansions in the sense of like adding new content. Not like a you know. Not like a freaking Monolith Soft kind of DLC. Where like it's a lot like we kind of fix mechanics. Because that's I don't know. So, but I hope they make the fights like the fights, and there'll be interesting stuff there. I'm interested to see the DLC and obviously Koopa and stuff like that. But like that's where there's this game. So I think the gameplay is where it falters a little bit. Um, it's not terrible. I also am not one who's really tired of the turn-based Pokemon style. So, like, but this one does have me play differently, and I do put some consideration. So, I did have fun playing it, but it's not this. It's not like this. It just doesn't flow as well to me as I wish it would. But maybe I might. That's more. That could be a me thing, and not. Alright, boom. There we go. There we go. So that's kind of that's I'm repeating myself. I gotta stop. That's not what I should be doing. I gotta be a lot more concise. So, but that's like my basic thoughts on the game. I obviously it's not. I'm still playing it. I need to do. I'm gonna try to do. It's gonna be slow grinding, but doing these 15. Simple there. doing these 15 like things are gonna be kind of insane. But after that, I'll eventually do side quests. We'll see what happens. And I'll eventually finish the Pokedex. It's just how it is. I think this was a fun game. I think it's a solid game. It was a anticipated game of the year, and it's one of my favorite games that I've played this year. Not my favorite. I mean, not even probably not like it. It's probably my top 3, not top 2. Definitely not my favorite. It's Death Stranding 2 still, but like I did have a blast playing this game, and it was I'm not even really taking that on. Wait, no, actually, I do have something. There we go. Kind of, it's in that they make you do this long grind, but it is what it is. I want to make sure that I want to have, especially because like I think there is gonna be like some actual, like, one thing I loved about no. One kind of thing I loved about like Indigo Disc especially was it referenced if you brought just not move. Goodness gracious, fine, just go. Boom, there we go. Uh, like they actually like reference, like if you brought some Pokemon, if you brought Ogerpon, there was actually special dialogue. So, uh, and even with the it's like I want to have like Floette and I want to have Zygarde at least on my team. I'll probably not have the trio there, but I do want to have that because I think it might have special references, which is always cool. So, and it'll be interesting to see what the story hook's gonna be, because like they're gonna try to do an actual story, and well, this is also a good way to level up too. I'll try to do some bonus things here, because why as well. Sneaking up is actually very tough. I don't know. Pokemon. I can try doing that. Just running out. Just go here then. I think the biggest thing is like the theories are going to be insane. And I also feel like Willow might be back, which is kind of funny. Like I don't know though. Like it would be insane, but I don't know if that's like a reference. Is that here? I don't know if that's gonna be like a reference to, um, it's gonna be a reference to the DLC or whatever. Obviously, the Legend Arceus stuff is pretty cool, which is pretty nice. That museum was really fun. I found it on my own, but I knew I wanted to go to, because like when I saw that, I was like the museum. I didn't. want to go at the start of the game. But like I love the museums in Pokemon because it's when they can actually like it allows them to do the world building in a way that like works. I mean, museums are also a good way to do history because but Pokemon likes to do world building like by kind of implying that maybe it's not. Uh, but it's so like museums allow that like studies show that maybe this, but we don't know. But you can kind of just like take it like I don't know if it's that. It's just kind of a way to make it more better, like more accurate to museum dialogue. So museums are cool, and museums are awesome in Pokemon games, and I'm glad that like the museum was done a lot. It was fun it was actually cool to explore. And, like I freaked out over all the lore reveals. Really fun. Man, like I think my overall like if I want to give I don't if I want to give ratings like I think it's like an 8, 8.5, maybe 9. Uh, in a lot of ways it's awesome. In a lot of ways, I think a lot of that is also personal taste. I think that there is like a lot of depth for the combat system, and maybe it's better online. Uh, but it just didn't gel with me as well. So, but I do think like it has promise, and I think maybe if they iterate on it, make it a little more. I mean, my thing is like if you can control the Pokemon, that would be pretty interesting. But obviously, it'd also be kind of jarring. So maybe that's not the way to go. Because like the idea is like, the idea is that it's like trying to keep it cohesive for whatever. So we'll see. Maybe everyone else loves it. And if everyone else loves it, then they should probably go for it. Because I don't hate it. It's just not my full cup of tea. Let's see if I can shoot this. Shot. Boom. There we go. It is just fun playing Pokemon again. I mean, to be fair, I have been like a new Pokemon game because I've been playing older Pokemon games the whole year in preparation for this game. Honestly, it's why there's kind of some sense of like closure, where like this is the game that I started playing all the old Pokemon games for because I just didn't have played them before. Boom. There we go. There's poison. Should I do this? Boom. Man. Watch slide. So. Sam. Pop it in here. Seems like it's crap. So. To be fair, like what the gameplay does offer though is actually is like kind of tough. Like you will like maybe obviously maybe if you spam items, which I kind of did sometimes. Like the game is actually kind of tough, and it's not as it's because the one thing that makes Pokemon games easy is when you get to the point where you are faster and can one shot. When you are faster and can one shot. That's what makes Pokemon games really easy. Is that when you just start outspeeding, just destroying them. They can't do anything. It's just like boom, done. Like there's just not much you can really do. So this takes that away and makes the games tougher. All right, well, we got 50,000. There we go. Ooh, 54. Not even an hour. That's pretty good. See, it's not that quick, not that long. You know, you just gotta do 15 of them, which is a lot. So, just gonna. I don't like the night. It's not my favorite time in this game, so. I will say though, at least the one thing it does do is like this game makes grinding a lot, or makes it leveling a lot easier. So if I wanted to level another Pokemon, I just have to do battle zones. So what I really should do is like pop Pokemon on there that I want to level up, or Frostlass or something like that. While they do them, because you can really get some good levels. So my team, like, you know, my team is. It's not the exact, obviously, but these three Pokemon are team Pokemon that I used during this game, and you know, now the Lucario is one who got from a trade, from an in-game trade, so that's why he's gaining so many levels. We need to go. Well, whatever. It's Lucario is one of he is a top tier Pokemon for a reason. Which reminds me, I need to go back and finish White 2. I played that to like the first few gyms of White 2 and then I stopped. I'll be back on there at some point. That's kind of where my Pokemon journey stopped. Like, I got to White, finished White, and then I started playing White 2, but I did that mistake where I started playing White 2 right after I played White. And that's a wrong thing to do. You shouldn't really do that, because especially White 2, one of my issues with White 2 from what I played is, unlike like Heart Gold to Silver, which is the more apt comparison, not really this, because while this obviously is revisiting a region, and it does it very well, and it does it in a way like Heart Gold to Silver, but it's also not the full region. It's just Lumios, so there's a difference. Heart Gold to Silver has the whole Kanto region, and while it obviously is still very similar, and there's a lot of similar stuff, it's still very the same, or still very different. It still has, like, there actually does kind of feel like it's been a couple years. Which Black and White 2, while there is, now maybe there's, I think, obviously, maybe based off like the earlier zones, when you get to mainly it's just like it's Castelia. I think Castelia doesn't change that much. And like, I kind of wish, like, what I mean by that is, like, especially because like it doesn't change, like, it's kind of insane detail. Like, most characters just say the same thing. I think sometimes even verbatim, sometimes, or nearly verbatim, and it just kind of sucks. I wish there was more change. I think and I think maybe as I went through the game, maybe that's probably maybe it's an early game complaint that's not really based in reality. Fair enough if that's the case, but it is kind of an issue I have with White 2. But mainly I made the mistake of I played White 2 right after I finished White, which is a mistake. Shabby, this stupid piece of crap. Is he gonna have like good Pokemon, or is he gonna be another joke opponent? Because the whole Zach thing was a joke where he had the same crappy Pokemon. Okay, now he has good Pokemon now. Oh yeah, he's got good Pokemon. And his Ref. Boom. Okay, Slow King. Ah, crap. Oh, shoot. Oblivion Wing. So strong lifting those levels too. Dark Pulse. Boom. Is he gonna Mega? No. Well, then I'll Mega. It's time for me to Mega. Pretty cool to have Mega Zai card. It's even like done off Z moves. I like. Oh man. Got 5 done. There we go. 5 matches. 10 more to go. I'll save. It's doing a good job. Alright, I think I'm probably going to be done with doing the grind. I'll just sit and talk for a little bit before I go. Because I'm probably going to go for about a little bit longer. Just want to get to an hour, and that'll be about it. I did want to stream, though, and this is like the one time where I can stream. So, I tried to stream, and then it was a mess. This is the one where it's not a mess. But I probably won't be doing much for the next couple of weeks or so because I'm going to be very busy. Kind of finished this game at the right time because I started class again. I basically, like last week in my fall break, I started class again, like today technically. Other things obviously. So it's just kind of good to finish this, have this game done by this point. So I'll just go to Hotel Z and that's where we'll finish it off. But yeah, I am optimistic about Gen 10, especially after this game. I think I am interested to see what Gen 10, and I also know I have seen some of the leaks. Like I know they're doing a lot with Gen 10. They might even, the thing is, like, funnily enough, one thing I did notice about this game, and I noticed that like, they're probably redesigning characters. Raichu got redesigned in this game. Raichu has a different model. Now maybe it's not this game. Maybe with Scarlet and Violet, I'll have to go check. But I know it because in Sword and Shield, not recently, like a few months ago, earlier this year, I did like the Isle of Armor DLC. I still haven't finished Crown Tundra. Don't really care to, honestly. But I did the I did the Isle of Armor, and I used the Raichu during it. And then later on, in my X and Y playthrough, I also use a Raichu. It's the same model with the same animations in those games. So I know that model. And when I see Raichu in this game, he has a different model. It's subtle, but it is a different model. Now, it makes sense because he's a marketing thing because they're doing Mega Raichu fun. Which I'm surprised they're not even doing Mega Pichu. Or Pikachu. Because, like, even in this game, there's, like, the idea, like, you know, but it's also because, like, it's a little reason, so whatever. Mega Raichu is a fun idea. I'm looking forward to seeing what that means. And, like, the new Megas and whatever. But, like, I think that... So, and I know they're redesigning Pokemon for Gen 10. Because it is, like, the Switch 2 game. It's a Switch 2 exclusive, which makes sense. Hopefully that... And so maybe they push the bar a little bit. I hope so. The thing is that with the ZA delay, because ZA was originally going to be in 2024, but it got pushed to this year. With the ZA delay, that pushes back every game a year. Which is good. That's what we want. We want more development time. So, Gen 10 should hopefully be a lot better. And I know they're doing a lot. I know it's like islands. I'm probably going to mean water traversal. I hope it runs well, and I hope it looks better, and I hope it's a better game. And I hope it still keeps the quality of storytelling that they've had through Legends Arceus up until now, especially because I think there's a shift in Legends Arceus, Scarlet and Violet, and this game are a lot. There's a little shift, and there's definitely not just a little. It's a decent good shift. I think maybe a little bit was in Sword and Shield too. Like there's been a shift. There's degrees to it. But like Legends Arceus, Scarlet and Violet in this game specifically have really upped the bar on storytelling, in my opinion. In a way that's like even better than sometimes Black and White. Like it's a way that I hope that continues, and I hope they go better. I hope they go bigger. I hope the Pokemon are better. I hope that the the gimmick, whatever the gimmick is good. I hope it's all fun. That's my hope. I am optimistic, but I'm also not I'm not stupid. And the funniest thing is, like, yeah, these games are made on shoestring budgets, which is, now one thing I'll say is, like, didn't people want that? I thought the whole thing recently was budgets are out of control. We need to lower them, whatever. But yes, the budgets in these games are very small, so they're going to make a lot of money. If this game, which has gonna sell well, it's Pokemon, it's gonna sell a decent amount of copies. It's gonna make a lot of money. I hope that they do make it better. And I am, I think the bar has been raised, so I'm hoping it's got to keep this bar up. You don't want it to lower. We don't need an X and Y, because X and Y, like, it's insane, the fall off from even just black and white to X and Y. It's a massive fall off. It is a cataclysmic fall off in terms of quality. This drop off in quality is insane to me, because X and Y are not good games, and this kind of fixed Kalos in a way. It fixed Kalos in a way that is really good, and it also, like, it was able to do, like, the X and Y stuff justice in a way that X and Y never got to do. And I don't know if even Z was going to be able to do it either, in my opinion. While Z was always, like, Z was this game that, which, this is Pokemon Z. I'm fully agreeing with that. I think this is Pokemon Z. This is kind of this is the Z story. We got it, finally. I think a lot of these things were probably going to be in a similar way. But even then, I don't know if if Pokemon Z itself was ever going to be that good of a game. Because if they just continued on the same trajectory from X and Y, it would be a little bit better. But X and Y has issues in a lot of its gameplay, mainly because it just has barely any Pokemon on the trainers. It is easy compared to even the games afterwards. It's insane to me. But whatever. We don't need to worry about Z anymore. We got Z. We got Pokemon Z, and now it's done. So obviously, there's the Mega Dimensions DLC, which they shouldn't have announced. It should have been announced like a month afterwards. I don't recommend people buy it because the outfits you get in the game are the outfits. I haven't bought it. I'll buy the DLC like when it comes out, but I'm not gonna buy it now because those outfits look stupid. It's $30. That's a lot of money. So they better stuff in it. Like, it's not gonna be some hunky. I hope it has some actual story meat too. Like some more connections to the story, so that's what I'm hoping. I had a fun time on my, revisit the Kalos. I got to enjoy this game, and I'm glad I got to play it. And I'm hoping that we continue on a better trajectory for Pokemon, but I don't know. But I understand that people didn't care for this game. I understand people don't care for Pokemon. I think especially on a technical level, there's a real, and I think, yeah, it is a very, like, here's the thing. I'm not naive, and also not stupid enough to. I do like actually play better RPGs than Pokemon. Pokemon can get kind of deep within like its competitive stuff, which I don't really deal with. But I am not. This is not like my only RPG. I think there are, so I understand. But I do have my fun with Pokemon, so whatever. But that's just me. It's whatever. I mean, the industry is obviously going in a weird place right now. Pokemon's always been kind of outlier because it's just popular. It makes a lot of money. It's a franchise. It's popular for a reason. Although I basically just only do the games. I'll watch a little bit of the anime, but it's mainly the games for me. But not even, it's only the main series games. I don't really care for any of the spin-offs. But anyway, I think I'm wrapping this up. There'll be some cool stuff. I'll maybe try to stream or something. Mario Kart video, I started working on Mario Kart video, got a little bit of it written. Then this game came out, so I kind of had to put all that on hold. And honestly, I haven't really thought of the Mario Kart video since this game came out. I'll get back on that hopefully, probably later this week or next week, and get to working on writing that again. And I'll have updates on that. So Anyway, for now, that's going to be it. Here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you.